Hi, I'm Teresa Ruth Howard from MyBodyMyImage.com, and I'm starting a series on the components of beauty or the aspects of beauty. And when I got to thinking about it, I thought that skin, hair, teeth, I think those are the three that are the main ones that when you first see someone, those are the things that sort of pop out as making someone attractive or beautiful. And I'm sitting here with Dr. Winokur, who is a dentist, because I had an incident about, what was it, like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was little, I was about 8 years old. No, it was about 10. And I was doing something I wasn't supposed to do, as usual. And I was running, and I fell, and I cracked my front tooth in half. I didn't go and get it fixed for a long time, but I didn't even realize that it bothered me. Like it didn't bother me in a way, but then it bothered me in a way. But anyway, long story short, I had it bonded a couple times over, and like 4 days before I was supposed to leave for Bulgaria, I was having a smoothie and bit into a seed, and my bonding pops off. Mortified. Sunday. It was a Sunday. So I'm like freaked out. I go online and I'm looking for 24-hour, 7 days a week dentists. And this is how I found Dr. Winokur. So so tell him a little bit about my tooth.
Okay.
And my case. Because my case, go ahead, tell him about my case.
So Teresa came into the office, very calm and composed, as you can imagine. And we were able to see her that day. And she came in with a tooth that has had a history of being broken down.
That is true. It's broken down. I had a broken down too.
It's had a history, and
my mouth was busted. Okay.
I presented what I thought to be the ideal treatment for her.
Okay, but here's the thing. Because I've been told before, this is why he's sitting here. Not because he just fixed my tooth. But let me tell you the story. So it's one front tooth, right? So I had been told that I needed a crown veneer.
You were told that you needed to fix that tooth, but also fix the tooth next to it to make it match.
Right. So you're talking about two teeth. So there's an issue.
So the issue was you didn't want to compromise a healthy tooth just for aesthetics. You wanted to be as conservative as you could.
But I also didn't want to pay for two teeth.
And the financial aspect drives people as well, and
right.
I think you're correct.
So I told him this, and he was like very, cool. He gets the iPad, and he's like, let me show you my one tooth work.
So I've been fortunate in my young career to have restored multiple cases where we did one tooth, and we made it work and look very natural and aesthetic.
Right. And so when I saw the teeth, I was like, oh wow, this is really incredible. I'm going to have it done eventually. And if somebody can say that they can actually do one tooth as opposed to two, I'm going to go for it. So basically I did. He gave me he made a beautiful temp for me.
We also, when we first treatment planned the case, I didn't make false expectations. We didn't promise you the world. I told you this might take 4 or 5 visits to make it right.
That's true.
And I also said we will probably send you to the lab, and we're going to communicate with the lab, and we'll get it right. It just, you have to understand this is a very difficult thing to do, and if you're patient and you have trust in me, we can get it done. And fortunately...
Wait, that was a setup.
Fortunately...
That was a setup because fortunately what?
The first time you came in, it matched perfectly.
Boop. Yeah. So basically I got my temp tooth, and then the next day I went to the ceramist.
You went to Robert Kim, he's an artist and a ceramist, and
he's fabulous.
He makes teeth.
And he checks the shade, and that's what he's doing. He's checking the shade and the way that the coloring of
Well, we take different shades. I send him pictures of shades without the tooth on, with the temporary on, and he compares what I send him. He picks his shade, and then we talk on the phone, and it's a process. We make sure that we try to match it as perfectly as we can.
I'm in Bulgaria at this point, just trying to keep a tooth in my mouth. So I got back, and the next day I go into the office, and we take the temporary tooth out, and we pop the what is it, a crown veneer?
What we did was we made her a porcelain laminate, which is a type of veneer, but for added strength, because one of her main complaints was she kept breaking the bonding. We
It wasn't
actually.
like I had.
Well, it's
Yeah,
not,
it was.
it's
It was
not
break
your
my-
fault,
and it
but
wasn't
that
nice.
was you wanted something, so we
I wanted to
basically
fix it. Fix it.
It's technically called a porcelain jacket, so it's a veneer that wraps more around it.
Oh, I have a jacket. Who
Yeah.
knew? It's very fashionable.
Made of porcelain. It's an expensive
Yes.
jacket.
So he pops it in, and I'm looking up, and he pops it in, and he gets this big smile on his face because it was perfect.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
It was absolutely, it really was. I'll show you. We're going to put my case up so that you can see what exactly I was dealing with and what he actually did. Okay, so that's why we're doing this series, because it got me to thinking about how things like your smile, how your skin, your hair, affect your self-image and your perception of yourself and beauty. So, so now we've gone through that whole long intro about why we're here.
That was just the intro.
Well, that was my backstory.
Just
That was my backstory. So now, tell me about yourself and how you actually, because you're a general dentist, but then you also have this sort of talent for doing what you do, cosmetic dentistry, which not everybody has, correct?
That is correct. I am a general dentist, but I focus on implantology and cosmetic dentistry. So basically what that means is we're able to transition smiles and change people's lives that are missing teeth and that don't like the way their teeth look, and we can do it very predictably because I use world-class labs. We have the luxury of spending a lot of time with our patients and really understanding what you want,
Right.
and just knowing that you'll be traveling, and we try to accommodate everything we can.
No, it was.
But that's a big part of it, is the temporary phase of having a permanent tooth, because
It's horrible.
you were very nervous at the thing.
You feel
that would
very
fall
vulnerable
off.
because you're like, my tooth could fall out of my head
Yes, but
at dinner.
no. So in my short career, I feel like I have a knack for cosmetic dentistry, and I just feel like the more I dive into my career, the more I'll focus on that aspect of dentistry.
So when you see someone and you start a conversation or they smile, and the mouth isn't beautiful, let's say, how do you respond to that as a dentist, as a man, as a dentist? That
I don't respond any differently than if I was speaking with someone who has a perfect smile, but I do notice different types of teeth and different types of smiles, and I
do you
think
just want to like go into their mouths and do stuff?
It's not my place to say anything.
No, not to say anything, but the feeling. Like as a dance teacher, when I see stuff that's wrong, I just want to go and fix it.
In a way, I want to say that I want to go in
Just
there
like
and say,
just,
"Why don't
if I
you
could
smile,
get you
just
in my
let's do
chair,
this."
right.
But with cosmetic dentistry, it's a want. Someone has to want to do the work. It doesn't matter if it costs $1 or $10,000. If someone wants it, they're going to find a way to make it realistic for them.
Can you talk a little bit about the people that? Sorry.
No, I'm saying, so if in your case you wanted one tooth,
I only wanted one.
you
tooth.
wanted one tooth.
I needed one tooth. I only wanted one tooth.
And the fee was higher than you thought it would be. Most
No,
likely.
I know it was what it was probably exactly more or less what I thought it would be. Like I am walking around with Wheezy's mouth right now. I'm like, it's a lot of money for a tooth.
But bottom line is, if you know it could be done the right way, and you could be comfortable and just feel very satisfied and feel beautiful, you're willing to pay really what it takes to have it done right.
And there's some things you just can't skimp on.
And you can't skip on. You could have gone to any dentist and
We won't say where, but
done.
you could. You
really could.
For instance, you could have gone. I could have gone to a dental school,
You could have gone to
which
a
is not
dentist.
a bad thing, but
Not at all.
But you might actually end up having to pay more on the back end if it's not exactly what you want.
That's correct.
So there's certain things you should pay for. You should pay full price for.